Imagine you move from a place where you lived all your life. Imagine you move and you leave all your children and wife. Starting all over again, but no one you know is around. Well, they didn't have to imagine. They built it up from the ground. How does it sound? Not easy cause it isn't. Could have praised them, but it didn't. But the Ray Bond, that's a winner. And they ran straight to the finish. You get to know them up close and personal. Wait, just give me a minute. Welcome to the front row. Can I get a drum roll? Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all. We are intentional.
Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants Podcast. And I want to tell you Happy New Year and all the very best for you and yours for 2022. I'm your host, Uylander Jack, and I am extremely happy that you're able to join me here today. All right, so we are continuing our series of what I wish I knew before migrating. So before coming to Canada, I wish I knew these things. They would have, knowing them ahead of time, would have made my journey a little bit smoother than it was. The Intentional Immigrants channel is available on YouTube, it's available on Podbean, it's available on Spotify, it's available on Stitcher, it's also available on Google Podcast. I now have an Instagram account and it's Intentional Immigrants. So please like, share, and subscribe. And you can always follow me on Instagram. So number one, driver's license. In Canada, at least in the province of Alberta, you cannot have two driver's licenses. So you'd need to surrender your driver's license that you have from your country of origin. For example, when I came here, I had to surrender to the registry my Jamaican driver's license because you're not allowed to have two driver's licenses. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it seemed that we're on the road and we're talking about, I never expected potholes. That was a shock to me. The potholes are not, they're not big potholes, but I just never expected to see potholes because, when you watch TV, you don't see potholes. And on my visits I usually visit the US. Before coming to Canada, I visited the US, several states in the US, and I never saw potholes. And I visited Montreal before migrating, and I didn't see potholes either. So what happened is that when the snow melts, then of course, you have potholes coming as a result of the melting of the snow. All right, so that's on the road. Doctors know, medical issues. I didn't know that you could still get chickenpox at a later age. I thought I was fully immunized, and as far as I know, I was fully immunized against chickenpox. But lo and behold, at the tender age of 38, I got chickenpox. It wasn't very bad, but it was still a shock for me that I got chickenpox. Oh, and if you have any of those diseases, you have to contact the public health nurse and declare your condition to say that you have the chickenpox nurse. So what happened with me is that I felt very, very cold, very, very cold, like the cold was to my bones. And we're talking about April, so there was a bit of snow, but it wasn't a whole lot of snow like in January or February. So it wasn't as cold, but it was still a little bit cold. And I just felt chills all over. And I came home, I wrapped up, and I went to the hospital or the health center. It's called a health center here, but it's the one hospital we have here. All right, so I went to the hospital and the doctor looked at me and he said, "Oh, looks like you have chickenpox." And he prescribed calamine lotion and something else. I don't remember what else it was. And I got to come home and I had to stay home. I had to call work. I had to tell work what I had. And then my supervisor said to me that I need to call the nurse so that they can know that I do have the chickenpox. And also, if somebody is pregnant and they come in contact with somebody who has chickenpox, then it's also, there is some repercussion to them, to the pregnant person. So I had to declare that. That was a new experience for me. Daycare. So you know that my children came here at 6 and 10 years old. Of course, I got them into after school care. So after school care means that they were able to, the aftercare was located on the school compound and they would go to the aftercare center. So they would go in the mornings and somebody would walk them to school and they would pick them up from school and walk them back to the daycare. So it was going very well until we had, I think it was the first set of holidays was Christmas break. So you pay for the month or you pay for the month for daycare. So when I was told that I need to pay for Christmas holiday, which is treated differently than whatever holiday, whatever public holiday or whatever period of time that school will be closed, those are treated as camps. So the 1 week before Christmas is treated as Christmas camp, and the week after Christmas is also treated as Christmas camp. Easter is treated, the 1 week in Easter that they get, that is treated as Easter camp. So what you find is that instead of, say, you pay for the month and you think that that's all you will be paying, no, sorry to burst your bubble. You will need to pay for these camps, even though they occur within the month. Okay? So there are additional payments that are required for these camps. Oh, on the basis of daycare as well, their Canadians do not accept monetary gifts or tips, however you want to phrase it. They prefer, or how it's done is to present a gift card. If you want to thank somebody for something, for doing a service, the proper way to do it is to provide a gift card. And the gift card can't cost a lot of money either. All right, so when my children were going to the daycare, Christmas holidays were coming up and I wanted to express my appreciation to the persons who were looking after them. And I remember I put some money in an envelope. It wasn't a lot of money. It was like, I think $50. And I put some money in an envelope and I gave it to one of the persons. I was really appreciative and I wanted her to know that. So I gave her the gift, I gave her the envelope with the money in there. And she gave it back to me later on. She gave it back to me, not the same day, but she gave me back the money and she said, no, she can't accept cash, or she can't accept things. So that was a learning experience for me. The second, well, Another point is finding a doctor. Now, if you're from a society like I was, where if you feel sick and you're able to afford it, you just go and find a doctor. So whether it's a specialist, for example, a pediatrician, or just a regular general practitioner doctor, family doctor, you just, once you have your money, you go and you pay to see your doctor. Oh no, not like that in Canada. I remember the first time when my second daughter was not well, I called because, we had to pass a doctor's office near where we lived. And when I called, they said, I can't just turn up to see the doctor. I have to book an appointment. Okay, fine. Can I get an appointment for today? Oh no, the doctor is not accepting new patients. So you need to find a doctor who is accepting new patients. Otherwise, you have to go to the hospital or the health center, as I said to you before. So one of the first things you need to know is that once you come to Canada, you need to find a doctor who's accepting new patients. So even though you're not sick yet, you need to have a doctor so that when you do become sick, peradventure that doesn't happen to you, but in the event that you do become ill, you want to have a doctor that you can go to, which it will be easy for you to get the medical care that you need. Otherwise, you can always go to the hospital or the health center. When you go to the emergency room, you have the triage process and all of that. So having a doctor that you know you can go to will be beneficial for you. In addition to that, even if you do go into a walk-in clinics, that's another thing that they have here, is that you have walk-in clinics. So you have walk-in clinics that you can go. They have walk-in clinics. So the walk-in clinic is, say you're not feeling well, you can go to a walk-in clinic at 6 o'clock, but there is a long wait, and the walk-in doctor will, even if they ask you to do some tests, they are going to send your results to your family doctor. So it doesn't hurt to make sure that you have a doctor. So find a doctor who is accepting new patients, and you should be good. All right, the final thing I want to share is purchasing furniture. So in Jamaica, if you're purchasing a dresser, it's one unit. It's considered one unit. The dresser and the mirror is not considered two separate units. It's just one unit. In Canada, when you're purchasing furniture, for example, a dresser, each part is considered separately, and they are purchased separately. So if you're buying a dresser with a mirror, you will need to buy the mirror separately, pay for the mirror separately, and you will need to pay for the dresser separately. Hopefully, those tips were helpful to you. And these are some of the things that I wish I knew before migrating. The Intentional Immigrants channel is available on YouTube. It's available on Podbean. It's available on Spotify. It's available on Stitcher. It's also available on Google Podcast. I now have an Instagram account, and it's Intentional Immigrants. So please like, share, and subscribe. And you can always follow me on Instagram. Until next time, I'm your host, Uylander Jack, reminding you, he who watches the wind will not sow. He who watches the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 4. You were born for greatness. Step out into your greatness. so that mankind can benefit from you being here. So long, until next time.
Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the